this is Stephanie Ortega, and you're listening to the Remix Movement Podcast.
Hello, everybody. This is Stephanie. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Remix Movement Podcast. We are super blessed to have such supporters, followers, and just friends and family that follow the Remix Movement. We see what you guys are writing. We see what you guys are sharing. And like I said, if we are a blessing to you guys, that's all that matters to us. That's the whole reason why we do these podcasts and the whole reason why we share all the different things that we share on our social media. So thank you so much. We're going to continue to pray for you guys. Now, going into our last episode, just to kind of refresh, in episode 87, we talked about hope. And we talked about how Jesus is the hope for all. We even talked about how whatever feelings we may have this holiday season due to, this really weird, one-of-a-kind year that we've been having, it is important to know that the Bible explains that there is good news that can give us hope and joy no matter what the Christmas season is. And that joy and that good news is Jesus Christ. So we talked about how our hope didn't start on the cross when he died for us, but our hope came when God allowed his son Jesus to be born in a manger in Bethlehem. And Jesus is the hope. He's the reason for the season. He's the reason for us each and every day. He loves when we get to spend time with him. And he is our hope. He's our good news, okay? The episode's challenge for the last episode was to share your hope in Jesus publicly to your family and friends as you prepare for the holiday season. And we mentioned that you can talk about Jesus more to them. We mentioned how you can encourage them to go to church with you, if that's virtually or in person. And we mentioned that it's always great to go ahead and pray for them. If we're continuously praying for our friends and family to receive Jesus Christ, we're also practicing that hope and that desire and that faith that one day they're going to come to their own free will to be able to choose Jesus Christ, and they too will be able to go with us to heaven when that time comes. So I hope you really enjoyed that message. I also really do hope that you guys are checking out our verses of the day. We are doing our final hashtag campaign for the verses of the day. And basically what that means is that if you go on our Facebook and Instagram social media platforms on the stories, every single day we're putting in a verse of the day. And each of these verses for the next 30 days are going to be about hope. And we're going to be using the hashtag Hope for All. So be on the lookout for those. Share those with any of your, social media platforms. And I hope that they encourage you. I hope that when you guys read that verse, that you really understand what it means, read the context, a few verses before, a few verses after, and really reflect on how God was able to go ahead and give us hope in the form of his son, Jesus Christ. Into this episode, we're going to be talking about the Care Bear effect. And I know it sounds weird, the Care Bears effect. It just sounds weird because nobody's ever heard of it. This is just my term. It's not biblical, all right? It ties in with the story that I wanted to go ahead and start the episode with. And basically it is that when I was younger, I used to love the Care Bears, okay? For those of you who are not 80s and 90s kids, you may not know this, but there was a time when there was greeting cards that had these little characters on them, and they were little teddy bears in different colors, and every one of them had a different emotion and feeling. So some of them were happy and joyful and silly and smiley. One was grumpy, but they were very cute. And the whole point of these greeting cards, Care Bears, was basically to expose people to understand how we need to be caring for other people. All right. Now, eventually, those greeting card characters turned into an actual plush toy. And when I was younger, I used to love the fact that I can choose whichever Care Bear I wanted. So they had these like fluffy pink ones, they had these light blue ones. All the colors were very vivid. And it was really nice. It was a cute bear, and you can collect all of them. And then you'll have all the Care Bears. They were known for, just playing in the white clouds. They did movies. They had a TV show. And Lewis told me that when he was younger, he used to watch the Care Bears in Spanish. Now, I didn't watch them in Spanish. I knew they were in Spanish, but I watched them in English. But watching these things and seeing how in every episode, you would go ahead and see how each Care Bear cared for each one of them in every different situation that they may be in. And it was super easy and it was super cute. The best part of the Care Bears for me was literally when they came out with this thing called Color Me Teddy Bear. And it wasn't directly a Care Bear, but it was a teddy bear that you would buy a little boy or girl, and they had these markers that you can color it with. So I would love getting that because I was like, oh, I want mine to look like one particular Care Bear. And it would have like stars and hearts and rainbows on it. And it really showed me how easy it was for the Care Bears to show their emotions and their feelings with regards to how they felt for their friends. And it made me really think about how, when I was younger, it was easy to care for people because I was young and I was exposed to these cute little, episodes where it was a really good lesson on how we should care for others. So it was easy to display this with my younger sister or with my younger cousins. It was easy for me to kind of see what if the Care Bears are doing it and they enjoy being kind to others, they enjoy sharing, they enjoy spending time with each other, then if I, do the same thing, I'm going to like it too. But as you get older, it's funny how being caring sometimes gets pushed to the side sometimes, right? So we are consumed with seeing so much of what's going on in front of us, right? And we see how it's affecting us directly. And instead of us first being caring, we have the tendency when we are either getting hurt or we're being offended or something happens that we think is unfair. And instead of being caring and choosing to have our character come out in a positive, godly way, we do things that are not that way. So for example, if somebody says something to you and, you react, you tend to react with maybe like a side comment or maybe with just ignoring them, or maybe somebody hurt you and you just want to isolate yourself. These kind of things happen because, again, life takes on, and I understand how that happens. But us as Christians, we need to really be able to hone in on the character of Jesus Christ. And Jesus was always caring, and he always, even when people were being offensive to him, when the priesthoods and all these like different people of the law were the Pharisees were trying to get him to get tricked, to say something wrong, to come out, to twist his words. Jesus always responded in a godly manner. He had a character that was upright, and he never shone them. He never, reacted in a way that was just rude. He never really lied to anybody. He never committed a sin, while he was on the earth. But back to this, we really need to hone in on caring. God is a caring God, and God is a kind God, and he wants us to understand that we are a replica of who he is. We are the image of who he is. And whenever these situations happen to us, where we get hurt or somebody says something to us and we don't like it, instead of going ahead and reacting in a negative way that's ungodly and, may even turn into a sin, we need to go ahead and think twice and try to be a little bit more caring, try to be a little bit more kind, see things from their perspective, really understand like their motives, and just take a step back. So like sometimes that happens to me. I'm quick to react. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm loud. And I still have to do this daily where if somebody says something to me, or if something happens that I didn't expect, and all of a sudden my reaction is to like yell or say something back, I really have to learn how to just like not talk, step back, and think about it first. And it's something that I'm daily, constantly trying to do. It's a work in progress. Sometimes we feel like we're unfiltered, but we have to learn that you have to be filtered, not to lie to somebody, but to show that you do care, to show them that, even though what they did was wrong, you can still react in a kind way. And you being kind to them will actually maybe change the way they react to you or they talk to you. They're going to see that you're being the godlier person, you're being the better person, and you're taking the high road from what they did, from the pain that they caused you. And by you caring, you're actually able to show them who God is. And a lot of times when people see you and they don't go to church and they don't have a Christian family, the only God they will see is the God in you. The only Bible they're going to read is the words that you have in your heart that come out through your mouth. And those are all godly, kind things to do. For you to be able to step up and say, you know what? How would Jesus react to this? How would God react to this? I know that I want to pop the top off and I want to say something, but let me take a step back and really focus on who I am. I am a child of God. I am an image of God, and they should see how God is. So instead of me doing something that I know I want to do that may be bad, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to care for them. I'm going to show to them that their feelings are valuable to me despite our differences. I'm going to show them that their emotions are valued, and I'm going to show them who God is. And that's the Care Bears effect. At least that's I'm trying to correlate my story to that. But basically it's just, letting people know that you care about them and showing them kindness. So going into the Bible, right? Daniel chapter 4, verse 27. I'm going to read it in two different versions because I think the way they express it is very different, but I think that it's one that'll really captivate the sense of what it is to be caring, right? So the Message version of Daniel chapter 4, verse 27 says, "So King, take my advice, make a clean break with your sins and start living for others. Quit your wicked life and look after the needs of the down and outs. Then you will continue to have a good life." So I underlined where it said, look after the needs of the down and outs. So what he's basically saying is there will be people that will talk to you in a specific way, that will treat you a certain way. And it's not one that is one that you appreciate or that you like. But those people may be down and out. They may be dealing with certain hurts that they never got to go ahead and deal with. They may be dealing with unforgiveness. They may be dealing with just bitterness. And those are not your fault. But because they don't have anybody else that they can go ahead and react to, and you just happen to be in their pathway, they're down and out. So we need to go ahead and look after their needs. Look after the fact that they are people too. And at the same time, those people are God's people in the sense where God created them. God created them, and you need to treat them the same way you want to be treated. God created them, and even though they may be trying to tick you off or trying to work your patience or trying to frustrate you, you need to look after their needs. All right. Now in Daniel chapter 4:27 in the NIV version, which is the New International Version, it says, "Therefore, your majesty, be pleased to accept my advice. Renounce your sins by doing what is right, and your wickedness by being kind to the oppressed. It may be then that your prosperity will continue. It may be then that then your prosperity will continue. So what is this saying? We need to be able to live for others. Not living for ourselves, but live for others. And we need to be able to do what is right. Again, thinking, what does God want me to do? How can I portray who God is to this person? How can I be kind to this person? And we have to be kind to the oppressed. So we can be kind to everybody. Everybody in one shape or form is oppressed. Why is that? Because the enemy is always trying to attack us, right? If we're believers, the enemy is always trying to find us in a trap so that we can get oppressed, so that we can get frustrated. But we need to be able to be kind to those who may not know who Christ is, and even to those who know who Christ is and they make mistakes. I mean, we are human. We're not all perfect, but we're in the process of being perfected through Jesus Christ. So we need to be doing the right thing and we need to be caring for others. Now, during the holiday season, a lot of people tend to go ahead and think of the poor, the weak, the less fortunate. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, because during the holiday season, I love when we're able to go ahead and help out the homeless and feed the poor and be there for our community, because we are called to do that. But there's more people that you can influence who may not be the poor, the weak, and the homeless or the less fortunate. We're talking about people in your own circle. We're talking about people that you meet at your own house. You know, these may be family members, these may be teachers, these may be friends, these may be pastors. We're talking about people that you may be married to, that you may be in a relationship with. All right. And those people's feelings matter. Even when there's an argument between me and my husband, I have to really understand, despite the argument that may be happening in our marriage, I still have to care for Louis. I have to make sure that Louis's feelings are being acknowledged, that Louis's feelings are shown that they're valuable. And at the end of the day, I have to be able to say, you know what? I love him and I care for him enough to go ahead and forgive him and move forward in our relationship. And that's the same way with any other relationship that you have with people. You have to be able to think like Christ, and you have to be able to say, you know what? I love you. I care for you. I want to be God in this relationship. How can I be better? What can I do so that your feelings and emotions are valued and we can get past this? All right. The next verse I want to read is Luke chapter 6, verses 31 to 34. And this is coming from the Message version. It says, "Here's a simple rule of thumb for behavior. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you. Then grab the initiative and do it for them." So do to others what you want them to do for you. All right. If you only love the lovable, do you expect a pat on the back? Run-of-the-mill sinners do that. Now, if you only help those who help you, do you expect a medal? Garden variety sinners do that. If you only give what you hope to get out, do you think that's charity? The stingiest of pawnbrokers does that. So what is this trying to say? You can't pick and choose who intercepts or comes into contact with you and who you choose to care for. We're called to care for all. We're called to care and be kind to all that we come in contact with. Even if, you keep seeing the same person, they keep saying the same stuff, you are called to go ahead and care for them, to be kind to them. You cannot pick and choose. You cannot be one of those people that says, well, I'm going to be kind to this person because they're nice to me, but I'm not going to be nice to the other person because they keep, doing the same stuff. We're called to care and kind for all of those that are in our lives. So I put up together some examples of how we can choose to be kind and care for others. All right. These are just different scenarios. There's only 3, but I thought that this would kind of show you guys exactly what I mean. So the first one is someone drops some of their grocery items while they're at the checkout line. You are quick to go ahead and pick it up for them. So sometimes you're in the checkout line and the person in front of you, for some reason, just dropped something. Be the first person to pick up that item so that they don't have to do it for themselves. That's how you're able to care for them and to show kindness. The second one is your coworker seems to be having a bad day. Send them a quick email letting them know that the day will get better, and if they need to speak to someone, that they can count on you. You can send them an email or you can go to them in person. But this way, you let them know that you noticed how they felt and that you want to be there if they need any advice or they need any help, a shoulder to cry on. And that's another way that you can show that you care. And the last one is your family member at the Thanksgiving dinner table makes a snarky comment to you about another person that happens to be at the dinner table. You politely tell them that you do not want to talk about it. So this one's a little bit different because this one, you have to politely tell them something that they might not like, but at the same time will show them that you care about others and that you care about what you say about other people. So, being able to stand your ground and tell them in a nice way, hey, now is not the time or place to be talking about this. And you know what? We're having a Thanksgiving dinner and I'm grateful that they even came. This is you also showing that you care about your family because you know what? That person that's making that comment may just see the God in you when you say that. I mean, it takes guts to go ahead and do that, but sometimes you got to do that and that's the way you care. So these are just a few examples of how you can go ahead and show that you care. So in this episode's challenge, it's going to be basically do something kind to someone in these next few days to show that you care. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. And I think me and Lewis will be back here on Thanksgiving Day or the day after. I'm not sure yet, but I think we will definitely be talking to you guys soon. All right. God bless.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Remix Movement for more updates. Send us a DM with your feedback, questions, and any topics that you would like to hear in any of our future episodes. Thank you and God bless.